Alrighty. The stream is starting. That's pretty good. Hi everyone, and welcome back. Today we're gonna be making a bit of an improvement over our little game that I'm making, um, which is slowly getting somewhere actually. So first of all, let me. Oh, I don't think I can change it now. I wanted to change it from uh, ultra low latency to a lower latency because there is no point in having ultra low latency if I have zero viewers. Um, well, anyway, um, let me show you what is currently happening in here. So if we go over on workspace 3, I got our terminal here. Let me clear it out just so it's a little cleaner. And we get the output onto the console. That's obviously not the best way of doing it because A, it looks weird, and B, it's not, it's you don't have to dump like a shit ton of text into this 60 times a second. Actually, I don't remember what the frame rate here is. Oh, it's 30, okay. Anyway, still. So we can press W, and we can go forward, and we can collide, but we can't stop, and we can't go back either. If I restart and I press back, you see it doesn't do anything. Um, if I press forward, it does. So yeah, what's up with that? I don't actually know. Um, so we got quite a bit of code in here. But what I want to do today is make debug a thing, a debug window, because this is just not, this is not acceptable. Because you can't see information about a single entity, and even if you can, I don't know, it just doesn't look as good. So we're gonna make a debug thing, and debug thing is going to be based on a, a thing. Let me real quick pop out chat, send that next to OBS. Hang on, and then close YouTube Studio because, well, it's not really interesting to us. Um, Also, let me just make sure I'm not. Okay, my desktop audio is turned off. Good. So, this is Imgui. And by the way, they want your money because they're struggling. And this is a really good library because you can create these really simple UIs with this. Just that, you know, just this. Okay? Now, I believe that the way it works is it not sure how exactly it works though. Hmm. Okay. Let's see here. I haven't read through the documentation just yet because I'm going to be installing it right now, and I wanted to document the process because, hang on, let me just turn that down low. People had been complaining, oh, installing from GitHub is hard, compiling from source is hard. Well, maybe if you're on Windows, it has its problems. Um, but we're gonna do it just using this terminal thing that everybody's scared of. At least I know Linus has been complaining, oh, Linux should not, use the terminal for, like installations and stuff because, it's not user friendly. As if a person cannot copy paste commands. I don't know, it's just I decided to prove that this is not hard stuff, just so people don't say like, oh, it's hard or something. Um, anyway, I don't really care what people think. of Linux. I don't want to comment on. Oh, wait, hang on a second. You can do that? Uh, how exactly does it work? I wonder. Hmm. Oh my God. Oh no. Custom engine. Is is that like fucking um ECS? Oh sh Tracy Profiler. Oh, this is the thing I think Cherno is using. Okay, that's pretty good. You can make GUIs with this. I actually am gonna consider adding it as a dependency for the game, as long as they don't, collapse. So I need to know how to install this. So let's see here. Oh wow, got this stuff. Usage, how it works, releases and change logs, demo and integration. Do they have CMake? I don't see CMake lists here. I don't think they're using CMake. What do they use then? Sorry. What? How do you compile? What? Hang on. That does not. What? How do you compile? Do you. What? Hang on. Backends. Uh. Okay. Let's see here. imgui.h. What are you? Section header miss. Yeah. Oh my god. What is this literate programming stuff here? This is scary shit. Okay, you do a lot of pragma if def. Jesus. I almost feel shy because I don't have this mess. Not sure what that is. I guess that's your life if you're um what's it called? If you are what's it called? If you're doing cross-platform development, I guess that's what you have to do. I still don't believe it. Okay, let's see here. Draw a channel, blah 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 blah. Type def. Oh, so this is an opaque type. Oh no, 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 no. Opaque types again. No. Okay, this is completely impossible to read through. Let's go into their support continued development and maintenance here. Oh wait, is that a PayPal link? Okay, we're not going there. No, close this. Oh, okay. PayPal, your site is trash. It loads forever. And you can't, you know, back out of it quickly. Shouldn't be this way. Okay, so it's for C++, optimized vertex buffers that you can render anytime in your 3D pipeline enabled application. It's fast, portable, render, agnostic, and self-contained, no external dependencies. Dear GUI is designed to enable fast iterations and to empower programmers to enable content creation tools and visualization, blah, 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 blah. There is simplicity and productivity for this goal, lacks certain features normally found in more high-level libraries. Dear GUI is particularly suited for integration in game engine for tooling, real engine, blah, 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 blah. We don't really want to read that. What we want to know is after the GUI is set up for your application, you can use it from anywhere in your program loop. And this is how you do it, which I do not believe that you can do it this way. Let's see here. Self-contained, blah, 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 blah. Hang on. Which can simply compile in your application engine. There are files. Wait. The core of DRMGUI is self-contained within a few platform-agnostic files which you can easily compile in your application engine. They are the files in the root folder of the repository mgui.cpp So you need to compile them yourself. And you don't have CMake lists. And you don't have a make file. So you compile it with your engine. Is that what you're saying? Because that's fucking who the who thought this was a good idea? No specific build processor is required. You can add the SCP files to your existing project. Are you fucking kidding me? So I have to do this manually? Well, using the command line, we can do it manually. We can just, use the wildcard to grab all the CPPs, but just the fact that you have to do it. Okay. All right. Next up, you'll need a backend to integrate your MGUI in your app. The backend passes mouse, keyboard, gamepad inputs to a variety of settings to the MGUI and is in charge of rendering the resulting vertices. Okay. Backends for a variety of graphics, API, and rendering platforms are provided in the Backends folder, along with the examples and CD integration sections in the document for details. You may also create your own backend. Anywhere you can render textured triangles, you can render Dear MGUI. After the MGUI is set up in your application, you can use it from anywhere in your program loop, like this. Okay, and the result, settings are style, light style, or bottom medium font 16 pixels code. This is a bit more code here. And that is the thing that you're getting. Okay. Uh, all right. DRM-GUI also allows you to create elaborate tools as well as very short-lived ones. On the extreme side of short-livedness, using the edit and continue hot code reload feature in modern compilers, you can add new widgets to tweaks variables in your application. Blah, blah, blah. Okay, so let's start with the actual. Let's take a look at the examples first. I think that will give us a bit more of an understanding of how the heck it works. Although, you know what, we should just not waste our time. Install imgui. I'm pretty sure it's in my package manager as well. Let's see. Pacman dash s imgui. Cannot perform. Oh, yeah, because ss. Uh, GUI. Yeah, let's see here. Uh, Arch. I'm not really searching for the package name. Oh, there is imgui SFML. Let's then do imgui-sdl. Okay, let's see here. So during development of many visual applications, we know that This is why we're here. This is the CMake file. Okay. Target include directories. Y in earth. Would you do that? mGUI public, mGUI backends. Oh, okay, it's for mGUI. Okay, that makes sense. And then target link libraries, program mGUI, integrate mGUI, mGUI implementation is yellow, and OpenGL3. All right. Check version, create context, get IO, stock colors dark, init for OpenGL. So this is the context. Wait, where did you get the context though? Context is the GL context. I don't have that. I don't have SDL OpenGL thing. I just use SDL. Did not tell me I have to get this main loop. Wait, what are you doing? Oh, shut down, destroy context after cleanup. Mm-hmm. Oh, see, get SDL open GL context. Yes, very useful. Um, let's just do then. In this case, let's just Google SDL OpenGL context. That will give us an understanding of how to actually get it. SDLGL create context. Uh, so it returns a context and you pass it a window. It is that simple. Pass the window, clear color. Oh, you can actually use GL calls now. Oh, we should do that. Yo, look at that. You can now make GL calls. Let's finish with GL functions. The GL context should be deleted. Yeah, let's call that. Okay, let's add it in. So here's how you create that. This is how you make the context. Let's just slowly get this thing integrated. So at the beginning here, um, a renderer should take care of it, by the way. Let's go in here. There should be a constructor somewhere. There it is. So once we do SDL assert renderer, okay, SDL context, create context from window, and in here you are going to destroy this context. Um, well, okay, let's do GL context, but it's saying it's basically initializing it here. I wanted to initialize inside of this. Also had found a fatal flaw in my approach. Is it a null pointer or what is it? It is actually a variable. You pass it by value, or at least you get it by value. So let's just say that we don't care what it is. And in this case, we don't actually want to create anything. We just want to do this and save it, and it should work just fine. Use of undeclared identifier GL context. Oh, declare it now. Okay. So now we should be able to get this thing, and because it is by value, and should the main loop be even concerned with this imgui stuff? Should it know about imgui? I don't think so. It should, but not that it should be concerned too much. Should be, yeah, okay, so imgui should be managed by the renderer. In that case, we go here, and once we have our imgui, sorry, not imgui, GL thing, we're not gonna check imgui version at all. Um, this has to be installed. Is there really no imgui that I can install? No. Weird. What if I just imgui? Can't. Oh wait, it could be in the AUR. Yay-ss imgui. Oh yeah, actually I want to correct that. Okay. So NC Tracer and imgui frontend. Okay. MinGW. What? Why is it MinGW? Weird. Okay. Open broad view. SFML. Open board view. Open board view. Okay. So it seems like imgui is what we want to install right there. And that should install it. Okay, while it installs, I'm gonna be right back. All right. So imgui seemed to have installed, and the way we're gonna check it is gonna be really simple. Let's go into rendera.cpp because that's where the implementation of imgui will be. And let's just try and include imgui.h. Let's put a hash, and let's also put in these things here. Okay, I'm not sure if I'll put it inside. Oh, look, you can actually open this file and you get mgui.h. Alright, so yay did install it, and that is what you should try. And this is one of the reasons why I really like Arch Linux, is the fact that you have things like the Arch user repository, which allows you to install almost anything. I mean, there's so much stuff in there. In fact, recently we had been arguing with somebody on Reddit about this NB not being in the AUR. Actually, it is. So, anyway, we include that, and we don't actually want OpenGL. Can I just use the SDL stuff? Init for OpenGL. Let's see. So in the constructor, I believe we should init. So after we create a context, oh wait, what am I doing? Let's copy both of these, go up here, paste them in. Then I don't think this will index it properly, so let's do this, that. Oh, I wish it wouldn't put that other bracket in. Okay, now it is complaining about not found. I am not sure exactly why that is. Let's try imgui. Okay, we get all of these, but this is imgui.h. Hmm. Why am I not getting the SDL specific stuff though? Also, let's quickly see here. Apple, GLFW, SDL. Can I just use SDL without? Okay. OpenGL2. Oh, this is a makefile. Hmm. So it does provide you with a makefile, but it's saying, oh, it's like platform agnostic, and also it's not a library that you link to. It's like it's not even a CMake module. You just dang, you just have to do it yourself, okay? You're just lazy. You should do it yourself. Why aren't you, why isn't your dependency providing you with a CMake file? It shouldn't. You should do it yourself. Yeah, very true. No, this is kind of weird. This is probably the first dependency that does this. It's kind of news to me that they're doing this thing. Like, you don't get a make file because you suck. Honestly, I don't know. It's weird. Also, here's the thing. This thing here, oh, it's in like backends. Did not tell me you installed the backends and into my include. Um, do we get like which imgui.h? Can we do that? Is it .hpp? No, it is .h. Okay, you can't find files with it. But if you do an ls add, oh, actually, it's not user include as far as I know. And actually, what you're gonna do, pipe into grep for um, imgui. Uh-oh. Okay. Pipe into that. Search for Wayland. Oh, Wayland is installed. What? I did not do that. Apparently, Wayland is an option here. Okay. I'm gonna keep that in mind. I didn't know Manjaro comes with Wayland. I thought they only come with X server. So let's see here. Oh, apparently you get a bunch of trash as well. You get a demo. You gotta, dude, this library. Um, like, the, it's not that it is terrible. It's just that it's weird. I don't understand it. I just don't. I no. Also, please stop this. This is just dumb. It kind of looks good, but not really. Let's see. You'll need SDL2, Linux apt-get install. No, 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 no. Please. Linus is gonna be mad. You said Linux and assume you just assume people use Debian based um, distributions. How dare you assume? Linus is gonna be mad. Yeah, it's not even funny. This meme is sad, okay? I really should stop. Anyway, so you need imgui.cpp, you need a bunch of that. Do you even compile? Because I see headers. Did you compile and put this in lib? Of course you're not gonna find backend. You will find something to do with imgui for some. Okay, so all right, that one's actually compiled into something. What about the other stuff? This is such a fucked way of doing it. Don't do this. Make a CMake um, module, and then you can, oh, actually CMake package, and then find package imgui, target link libraries, your program, public, imgui. It, it doesn't take that much research into learning how it works. I guess the only reasonable way is to fork it and add my own CMake lists, but this Git repository has so much bloat in it. Like the library itself may not have bloat, but the repository, you get imgui demo, which is, if I understand correctly, they're talking it's here. Why does it do it? What does it do there? If the two files that you need are imgui.asian.cpp, why is all of this? Do you need internal? What else do you need? What don't you need? Yeah, I don't know. It's just so weird. Anyway, back to this. You need a lot of stuff. Not that I'm going to link it. Oh wait, if it's required, it's going to be linked by CMake. So we should just follow this tutorial right here. So imgui imgui check version. Is that really? Do you really have to call this function? It seems like unnecessary. And putting, um, funny thing is, if you look at GNU Privacy Guard, they say that you have to call this function because it runs self-tests on the library when you call this function. I'm like, why? If that function is so important, don't call it check version. Call it like test if compatible with version or something. So let's just to be sure copy this code. Uh, I'm not in the most, happy mood today, so I'm gonna be doing a lot of why the fuck. Okay, so imgui, blah blah blah. Yes, let's close this terminal. Let's see here. Yeah, let's set the color dark theme. Doesn't matter, but we will anyway. Set the platform render bindings. SDL. Sorry, window is the SDL window. Context is the GL context. So you do this. You do this here, and it's gonna tell you that it's not this, but you're gonna just do that. And then OpenGL3 in it. It's funny that we use implementation SDL. Oh, SDL2. I thought it was OpenGL3. Sorry, OpenGL2. Anyway, confused this 2 with this 3. And then you just copy this code after this. Okay, seems reasonable. The only thing it's saying is undeclared, undeclared identifier, which it's asking Imgo implementation SDL. Uh, this library is so weird. Does not make sense. What is this thing? Implementation SDL. Let's control find SDL. Not there. Is it in backends? Hello? Yes, implementation SDL, and it also required us to use. Hang on. Is that like for an SDL renderer? So, hang on. What is that function we called? Implementation SDL to init for OpenGL. Implementation SDL renderer init. Hmm. Okay. Renderer support for large meshes with 16-bit indices. SDO render geometry raw is missing a vertex offset. Okay. I doubt somebody will actually implement this because they're whining how they don't have money. Yeah, I guess. Render dot data im draw data draw data. Okay. Um, so we don't use OpenGL. We use uh, what's it called? We use I forgot what it's called. Yeah, I forgot. It's called anyway, I forgot what I was talking about altogether. Oh, we use a renderer, so we might want to use a renderer in this case as well. But what's bothering me is that this window, if you want to create like a separate window, you need to actually like handle it as a separate window. You need to like create a new window and then put stuff in there, which sounds like a lot of work. But we added this. Okay, and then inside the main loop, you do like events and stuff. Start in the frame, SDL to new frame, and then MGUI new frame. Why do you have to call three functions? This is just disgusting. Frame logic here, and then GL clear, MGUI render, render draw data, MGUI get draw data, and SDL GL swap window. That's not how we do it. Okay, we use a renderer. I don't want to have to use this. Mm, okay, let's Google. Um, sorry, SDL, no, imgui with SDL renderer. Because I'm not learning that stuff myself. I am actually. Hang on a second. Hang on a second. If we go over to that um, file real quick, because I feel like it's really simple. So if you look here, this is the renderer, which takes an SDL renderer, and we need to look not into this file, because this is a useless file. We need to look into this CPP file right here, and this will give us some information. First of all, it's absolutely gigantic, or is it? Actually, wait, hang on, it's not. I thought it was going gigantic, but it's not. Secondly, let's take a look here. So we are closing all of this. It takes a renderer. So you don't actually like need half of the stuff that they said you need, don't you? You don't need this. It handles it for you. Let's see here. So, um, set up backend capabilities, flags. Mm-hmm. That's a shutdown. Set up render state. New frame. How do you... I believe what you do is you go over to there. Let me just real quick close like all of this trash that we don't need. What is this? It's a timer. I copied it already. I don't need this. What is this? Imgui with SDO render. Close that. Close this as well. Okay, so now we are at a pure nothing, and we can click. Oh, okay. Open link in new tab. And let's take a look here real quick. So if we look at the code that they're saying imgui text. You do this, you create this text, and then I believe, oh, so that's how it works, I guess. Is that? Because like, wait, imgui begin. My first tool, my tool active. Imgo window flags menu bar. If imgo begin menu bar. There's no menu bar. Oh, there is. Oh, it's like a flag. Okay. They didn't use it there though. Interesting. Uh, Jesus. What do you want? I am just gonna straight up like watch a YouTube video on it. I'm not learning any of this myself. No, I'm bored. I'm going with sorry, with SDL. Not learning either of that. Actually, let me real quick switch to my streaming account. I'm going with SDL. Ah, I wanted YouTube. Okay, yeah, it's gonna be a little better. So 13. Dear MGUI, C++ engine programming. GUI docking and viewport scheme engine series. Why do we use SDLC in C++? Oh, when or why? I don't know. Confusing. MGUI, OpenGL, GLFW, SDL2, C++ series. Okay, let's click on this. Doesn't matter which one. Oh, you can hear shit.
Not familiar, Dear IMGUI is a framework that allows us to define an immediate mode graphical user interface. That's what IMGUI stands for. And this really just is a really easy way to get up and running with a UI for our engine. And it's what I used in the showcase video at the very beginning of the series. So I'm here on the Dear IMGUI GitHub page, and I want the docking branch, because this allows us to dock things left and right and have a very nice sort of layout for our
let's keep
editor.
it this way.
So docking branch, you can now pull this code. You can do this, you can download a zip as well, whatever works best for you. The point is that we're taking the latest from the docking branch and downloading it so we can add it to our project. And here it is. So I've just downloaded it to a programming, libraries, IMGUI folder, and here's all the files for IMGUI. So we're going to drag some of these files into our Hippo folder. Now what I want is for these to be compiled in with the engine. So I'm going to go to Hippo, go to include, and I'll add a new folder here for external. So we have our external folder at the root level, that's for like SDL and GLAD and those sort of base things. And this external folder will be for frameworks that Hippo leverages that we're also exposing to the client. So in this case, we'll start with IMGUI. And yes, it's called Dear IMGUI, but I'm just going to call it IMGUI because it's easier that way. And then we'll just pull in all these files. So all of these, we want the license as well. Copy that in there. And now we also want a couple more things. So we're going to look into backends.
Too bad if you don't include the license text in your text files.
Now IMGUI supports tons of backends.
That's not my problem, by the way. I don't install IMGUI. I'm installing it using the Arch thing. Also, I forgot to fucking turn this off.
It's like any backend you could think of. For us, we are using OpenGL3 and we're using SDL. So we're going to grab these four files here, and paste them in here as well. And now if we go back here, let's go to NIST and CPP. And these two allow us to use the standard library along with DRIMGUI. So
hang on a second. So far it's been pretty straightforward. He's just copying headers. What is he doing? Why is he copying? Oh, because IMGUI doesn't separate header files and C++ files. Jesus fuck. Dang. How can you be this terrible at programming not to separate your headers from your CPPs? Also, question. Actually, a really good question. What do you use? Like, what does IMGUI use when they test their library or compile or something? What do they use? Do they use CMake? Do they use makefiles? Do they compile by hand? There should be some kind of build process. Why is it not reflected in like a script or something? Why is there no CMake lists? Why is there no makefile? Why is there just nothing? It's just so disgusting. Okay, anyway, what was he trying to copy there? So he was trying IMGUI MISC CPP. Yeah, I know what that is. Let's go up here. Miscellaneous. What? CPP, stdlib. Oh, that does not fucking make sense. Alright. Let's go over to this video real quick again.
we definitely want to pull these in. And then lastly, we'll want the debuggers folder. And the debuggers folder, if you look into it, it has these sort of, the NatVis is what we care about for Visual Studio. It basically makes it prettier to look at in the inspector when you're looking at these IMGUI, data structures and that sort of thing. And that'll be in the README as well. Okay, so we've pulled in everything we want for IMGUI, so let's go back and open our Premix 5 Lua.
I consider Visual Studio project files to be clutter and bloat, because I think you should not, if Visual Studio cannot generate them on the fly, then like, I don't know, you should tuck them away into a separate place. You should not have them in the root of the project.
So here's our Premix 5.lua, and we talked about the external.
Whoa, hang on. Where did he get that thing?
Okay, so we've pulled in everything we want for IMGUI, so let's go back and open our Premix 5 Lua.
Okay, it's his own. Okay.
So here's our premix5.lua, and we talked about the externals. These are the externals that are on the at the root level. For the externals that we just added, these are going to be compiled in with the engine. So we're going to want them. They're just going to be built with the engine. So we're going to include them in our files here. Now again, anything that's in under files is going to get compiled into hippo.lib. So we're compiling everything in. So if we look at the kind of files we just added, external imgui, we have headers and CPPs being in under the include folder. That's fine. We don't have to split them up. And then we have the navvis that we care about, right? So here we've got under include, which is where the externals live. We also, and again, the double star is recursive find, so any header under the include folder and any subfolders underneath that. So now we'll also want to add CPPs because that's where the imgui CPP files live. And then maybe at the bottom here, we'll just also add that navvis. So it's under, I don't want to leave it under include. Like we could add our own navvis for anything, so we'll just do a recursive .navvis here. I've never actually tried to add a .gdb file to like properly see internal data structure that has some better defined way of interpreting that data in
Oh
like
wait,
the
that has
locals
nothing
view.
to do with
So I
this
don't
code,
know
I
if
guess.
maybe like if you're on Linux,
Service
maybe
history.
just add that star.gdb for the other one. For now, I'll just do navvis since I am primarily working on Visual Studio. It's also not a required thing. It's just easier to debug when you're looking at it.
Mm-hmm.
So now I should be able to go back to Hippo, and let's just open cli.bat so we can Genesis land.
Mm-hmm.
And now everything's been added. So if I go here, I'll reload. Okay, so now that we've included DRM GUI, I need to actually set it up, initialize it, run its sort of initialize and shutdown code, just like we would with SDL in terms of getting that initialized. Now I'm going to keep that under.
Okay, I wanted it to be a video where I just, very quickly follow the command line steps and show how easy it is to, install, make software, right? But turned out to be a bit too complicated. Not that it's hard, though. Keep that in mind. It's not hard. Software development is always fun. But the way they do it is just, no, this is not. Why are you doing it this way? It doesn't make sense. You're not supposed to do it this way. You're supposed to, like, jeez. Do you remember? I don't know if it was on stream, but when we installed Box2D, it was literally, it was just these steps. I think I still have it. Um, Box2D. Yeah. So the way that you do it is you git clone box2d, and then you go cmake build, and then cmake dash dash target install. That's all you do. That's all you do. It's that simple. And then in the project, you just find package and do that instead of whatever the heck this is taking too long. We haven't even, okay, we did kind of install it, but we're not ready for SDL stuff. So I'm kind of growing impatient here.
We'll just call it imgui window. I don't want to call it just imgui.h because imgui has an imgui.h, and I just want to avoid any confusion there. So we'll add a
Yeah,
hippo
good point.
imgui window.h to the core, and imgui window.cpp as well. So similar to our existing window.h, we're going to have these sort.
Funny thing about Visual Studio, I don't think it is actually separating headers from CPPs. I think it's just making that like a visual distinction. I'm pretty sure it's all in the same folder, as far as I remember. I'm not sure though, but I feel like that's true. Because when I was trying to find my CPPs, they were in the same folder with a bunch of trash. And I think one of those things was a header file. Header files should be separated. You should not have them in the same folder as the CPPs because what you do is you say, oh, the include directory is blah, and inside of blah you have all the headers, only headers, because you don't want to have, name collisions. Even though it's not going to happen with CPPs and H, still.
of create, shutdown, handle events, all that sort of stuff. Because the way IMGUI works is it sort of piggybacks off of your existing backend, right? Again, for us, it's SDL. So it's going to use SDL and it's going to handle events so that it can render itself and expose the widgets that we can use and all that sort of stuff. Let's go back to IMGUI window.h and we'll start again with our namespace. Somewhere in Hippo core, we'll have a class IMGUI window. Public, private.
He's really good with his
So we'll have
keyboard.
an IMGUI.
Also, I don't see a reason to have public and private because if you put something above public, it's by default private. Okay, let's stop commenting his code style. This is getting annoying. But this is actually what I'm thinking about when I'm looking at somebody else's code. I'm like, why do you use private?
Window that does nothing. IMGUI window that does nothing.
No, 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 no. What are you
I'll have a
doing?
void create,
What are you doing?
void shutdown, and then maybe a
Throw
void
this
like
away.
handle SDL event because it does need to get passed in some SDL events. So SDL underscore event reference E, and then it's going to have a begin render and an end render as well, because it has a similar concept of beginning to render IMGUI and to end the IMGUI frame. Now SDL event doesn't know what that is, so struct SDL event. It's better. Actually, let me just make sure it's actually not a struct, it's a typedef union. So I'll take this. Yep, that should do it. So we actually don't need a private. Everything's just going to be public. And now let's switch to CPP. So include hippo, core, IMGUI window, namespace hippo core. And now we can define our create. So IMGUI window create. Now, to start making calls to IMGUI, we need to include our external IMGUI, IMGUI.h. Now we'll also need our backend files as well. So IMGUI underscore impl underscore SDL and IMGUI underscore impl underscore OpenGL3. Okay. So now we can actually start making calls. And the first thing we have to do is call this macro called IMGUI underscore check version. And then we have to initialize IMGUI with a call to IMGUI create context. Oops, context.
I'm still here.
Now, similar to OpenGL, where everything is sort of, it's just a context. You have an OpenGL context, and then you make state changes to that context. It's the exact same thing here. IMGUI, you create this context, and then you can make state changes to IMGUI. And now we get into the backend setup, right? So we call these IMGUI underscore impl SDL2 underscore init for OpenGL. That's what ours is. I don't know why IntelliSense wasn't finding it, but it is init for OpenGL because we're using SDL2 with OpenGL. So now we have to pass in the SDL window and the void star to the SDLGL context. So actually we need our window here. So include hippo slash engine.h, and we can just pull out our window. So auto reference window equals engine instance get window. So I think our window already has a get SDL window. Maybe it doesn't. Let me see. Get window. Yep, window. Okay, it doesn't. So we need to expose these two. So we'll need.
Okay, I'm bored. I am bored. I want to find something better than IMGUI. This is trash. Just eh, you if you're setting something up, you're not supposed to control C, control V. And I'm like, oh my God, 577 issues. Okay, at least they are. Let's see here. Oh, it's not good. Mm, okay. So here is a thing. I'm not, no, nothing interesting there. I expected to find the issue talking about the fact that you can't uh, install it properly because this is not installation. This is called, doesn't even have a proper name. No, seriously, this is just, alright, anyway. In that case, we either have to ditch it, just abandon the thing, and just say, you know what, we're not dealing with this level of mess. We're gonna make our own, or go find something else, and that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna try and see if I can make an SDL GUI. And not, no MGUI, no nothing. Wow, nice. List all GUI toolkits for SDL. Like, theoretically, we could make our own. SDL 1 or SDL 2. For the former, I don't know. For the latter, I know 3 to 4. Gina, Gionx, GUI-chan, KISS, Neo, GFX, SDL GUI, SDL widgets. Huh, hang on a second. There's something I want to talk about. Um, Before we continue, because this is going to be a choice I have to make. So I need to make a GUI system for the game anyway. Like, it just has to be done, right? You're gonna have menus, you're gonna have all sorts of things. If for So if we are gonna end up developing our own GUI because we don't want, Imgui's GUI, in that case, it makes more sense to devote our time to doing that instead of messing with this. And the funny thing is, we already have everything we need for a GUI thing. Like, we can already make a GUI, okay? So, you know what? Here's the thing. I'm not gonna. No, let's not get ourselves into Imgui because this is just madness. No, seriously, this is just madness. It looks good. People are using it. Dang, they probably have a point still. You know what? Okay, maybe I could watch the Cherno. The Cherno might be able to explain to me why I should use this mess. Because look, when I don't want to mess with, him GUI, setting it up, all of that. I want it to just work. Okay, that's what I want. and it doesn't just work. So I'm getting bored in this setup. I don't want to do it. Okay, so we're just gonna close this for now. Okay, we're gonna come back to that. I will probably use it. I'll end up using it because, it seems something, but no. Also, I should have git commit. Why did I not commit this? I could have just done rollback, and now I have to like remove a bunch of shit. Dang, I should have git commit. Why am I so like terrible at all of this coding? I'm terrible at git because I forget that I have to commit stuff. Shit, I hate that. This is fucking. Bye. No, seriously, it's not worth my time right now. I'm not in the mood. Maybe I'll do it off stream. But like currently my game is falling apart because I'm a terrible programmer and I have to set it up on this very shaky foundation. I'm not doing that. No, no. Okay, now that I installed it, I know that if I try to compile and it has pieces of ImGUI still in there, it should fall apart. Also, I forgot that I have to remove this GL context from here. Let me restart this compiling. It's gonna recompile. It's gonna recompile everything because the way this works is that all the systems are in the same place. Oh yeah, as I said, it's not related to, ImGUI, but still it's not supposed to be here. Oh, you can't hear the song? Oh, that's good. That's good. Although me singing it maybe will yield some copyright. I doubt it. I'm such a terrible singer. They can't tell which song it is. Even if they can tell, it's like, let's not talk about that. Where is this? There. Okay. So this is gonna have to do for now. And this doesn't work. Okay. I mean, things do slow down in this thing, right? Can you slow down? Do I not slow down because of my mass being... Hmm. Hang on, what if I make my speed slower? Player controllable. Oh wait, handle events. Uh, where? There. Player speed. I don't want player speed to be fucking 3. Let's make that to be a 1, as it was. It doesn't seem like it's gonna stop. It just goes at slower speed, but it doesn't slow down. Uh, Okay, well, it is losing a little bit of momentum, but only on collisions. So this, wait, hang on a second. Oh, because we don't have friction. We should have friction. We should have friction. Okay, let's make a B2 body def. And let's call this rectangle body def equal. Oh, actually not. Okay, just this. Then we're gonna say that our rectangle body def dot what's it called? Dot friction. Friction. There's no friction. What? There should be friction. Fuck. Look, it's got so many default values. Should have friction in there. Should have fucking friction. There you. There you not have friction. You should. You must. You fucking have to. You have no choice. Use data gravity scale B2 bar. What? What if I want friction? What if I want friction? What if I really want friction? What if I want really much friction? What if I want friction? I really want friction. Fuck. Where's my friction? I want friction, okay? Is it like in the shape? So I think it is in shape. Shape dot. No? Friction 1. Oh, flow density. And attached to this body, this is a convenience function. Fixture def is use fixture def if you need to set parameters like friction restitution. It says fixture def. Oh, okay. So you do that. Oh, I forgot that you need to use an actual thing. So B2, what am I doing? Fixture, fixture. What are you doing? Fixture equal. Oh, sorry, this. And then you're gonna say fixture dot. I think there is a shape thing. No, I want set. I guess you should call set. What? Okay, you can set friction on it. Friction. One. What kind of study coefficient of friction? This will not change the friction of existing contacts. Contacts. Mm-hmm. Okay. Wait a second. You can do it better. You can like, look, you can do this. You can do this, okay? You don't have to do that. You create fixture and then you immediately call dot set. Oh, sorry, not dot. It returns, I think it returns a pointer or something. So set friction and what is it taking? Is it does this one do? friction one. Here's my question though. If it's moving, does that use friction? Because if I move around, I should have friction in the air. That's what I want. Okay, I just want, like if you don't apply any force, then you're going to experience friction, right? Actually, you experience friction all the time, but you just, um, anyway, let's just run this game. It doesn't seem to slow down. It just accelerates at the same rate. Okay, I want a thing where it will touch something. Let's play pool. I wonder if it will bounce back the other way. No, it just keeps going the same direction. It's almost as if it doesn't have mass. Also, I'm not sure if they touched. Yeah, it's not gonna work. Oh, this is gonna be perfect. Did they touch? Yeah, they did. But they should slow down. What? And it's not even. I also, by the way, here is something that I would want to do. I want to move the camera according to player position. So I'm gonna say that after I handle all and everything, I handle the renderer. Actually, before I handle the renderer, I'm gonna say uh, here inside of convert. No, not really convert physics to render data. Let's do let's do it like here. I'm gonna say physics dot. Oh, sorry, not physics. Renderer dot camera data dot x equal to um, registry dot. Sorry, registry. Oh, jeez. Okay. Anyway, registry dot get. Sorry, not this get. GTFO, please. Can't type today. Get um, B2 body pointer set pointer from player. I'm so terrible with this keyboard on my laptop. Also, you might have noticed I became very, very quiet typer. Reason being that I decided to stand up because I'm just so mad at Box. Sorry, not Box2D. Box2D is fine, but the const auto position equals get. Sorry, get position. And then here you're gonna say uh, equals position dot x render dot camera dot y equals position dot y. Compile. Okay, and run this. Ah, the camera is not following it. What? The camera should follow this thing. No. It's not even moving a tiny bit. Hmm, no, the cube. The cube. No. Const auto position, position.x, position.y. It's almost as if it's evil. The renderer. The renderer offset does not work. Why so? Let's see here. Camera data.x. Let's see. Oh, hang on a second. Is this what I'm thinking? Hang on, hang on. Let's see here. Render, draw color. So render clear, and then like, let's see here. Render, draw color. Okay, size, and then your view, and it should render so that render data dot x times position to pixel camera data dot x. Hey, hang on a second. What's a render data? Okay, camera data dot x. Um, hang on. How exactly is this camera data coming from? Where does it come from? Wait, where did it come from? Camera data. Oh, does it come from this? Are you sure it's... Let's just make sure, okay? I feel like it's not actually doing it. So, cons, auto reference, camera underscore data equals this camera data. Let's try compile this. Yeah, still doesn't move. Oh no. But wait a second. Okay, even if this is not true, even if this is not what it's doing, when I initialize camera data over here, okay, see how I'm setting, camera data to have a position, and I can even set it to be dot x equals mm, which, let's say 10. I know it's not gonna work pretty well, but still. So if I save this and I compile, now what should have, what the fuck? Oh, okay, it's compiling. Um, now what it should compile is it should give me, mhm, okay, is it should give me an offset of 10. But it's not giving me any offset, that's the problem. Okay, so in that case, oh, we have a problem in that case. I mean, we should have it at 0, 0, but oh my goodness me. Let's see here. Okay, so we have struct camera data, camera data. Can I, uh, do not tell me that it is just a static thing. It is not. You can declare structs inside of classes and then have variables of that type. In that case, that's the issue with the equation. that is not offsetting stuff. Hang on, let's see here. A rectangle, okay. Um, you get the render data.x and multiplied by position to pixels, okay. Then get the camera data.x times position to pixels, okay. Uh, all right. And then you do minus position to pixels, divide by 2, plus round width, divide by... Why is there this width and height? Okay, width and height I understand, but why do you subtract half position to pixels? It has something to do with... It seems like a bunch of these things are actually equal to 0. Um, do not understand at all. What? Well, but I am doing this. Is this useless? Do not tell me that this is useless. Hang on, let me sit down. Got a little tired of all this standing and trying to understand what the heck is happening. Um, mm, okay. Well, does it... Why in the world does it not do what I want it to? Um, okay, you know what? Let's try a bit of a... Oh, wait, hang on a second. I think I know why. It's because this loop probably never executes. Because, well, actually, no. Or is it? Look, registry.get body pointer from the player. We already... Oh, wait, we haven't converted... Let's, you know what, let's do this. Let's, mm, so that is why. So, look, I think I understand now. Um, when we convert physics to render data, we get this camera data passed in. And this camera data is, uh, well, it is used in here to get the position. What the heck? You set the position, and then you set this, but then here For everything that has a B2 body, you get its position. You set the positions to be this. And then this is like a check. That does not really have to be here in any case, regardless of what it is. Oh, hang on, don't do that. And then in place or replace, render data. So theoretically, position minus camera data. So let's say 5 minus 5 is 0, right? So if the camera data is I feel like this is ambiguous, and that's why it's passing in 0, 0 like this, because it simply does not know which one. In that case, let's pass in a little bit different thing. Let's pass in camera data, and let's say that dot x equals position dot x dot y equals position dot y, and then this seems to be garbage. It doesn't do anything, but it's also saying, hey, insert an explicit cast to silent. This is a float narrow to int. Uh, really? Okay. Insert implicit cast, insert implicit cast. Compile. That should work. And let's see if it does. Please. I, okay, well, it does move us, except that it's on integer positions, but we are moving. We are. Look at that. Look at that. We are moving forward. I can move backward though. I want it to be more smooth. Um, and I think we are able of doing that. So because I'm not sure though. Is camera data floating point thing? No, it's not. Why is it not? Let's make it a float. Oh, okay. It's gonna say narrowing conversion of bra. Where is it saying that? Float cannot be narrowed to int. Fix available. Where? Oh, so you okay. Yeah, so what we're doing here is camera data x. Okay, so since all of this is now good enough, we can just remove these int things. hmm Okay, and that should theoretically, hopefully, move us smoothly through space. Ah, it's still not. Well, probably because when we do this, we don't actually want static cast. Compile, and this should work properly. Oh, please do. Yeah. Oh, we're able to travel now. There's no more cubes after we quit this point, and we cannot slow down either. So it's just void of space, but we're able to move, and at least we are actually moving. Uh, and one thing that I have a question about is why is there 718? Oh, wait, is it because I inserted the player data between window size? Okay. Well, anyway, there seems to be no slowdown at all. Even though we're not moving, you can see we are. Okay. Well, in that case, what we should do is, well, make a thing where we can move backwards, because currently we cannot move backwards at all. And the proper way of doing this is, well, the proper way of doing this is to uh, make it so that when you press a W, it accelerates you, but then once you reach a certain speed, it stops accelerating you. Okay, um, that's one way of doing it. The other way of doing it is, oh, and then when you release W, um, it should decelerate you, but it should always decelerate you. So in fact, deceleration, in my opinion, should not be the result of you stopping to press W. It should be the result of you pressing S, which is backwards, okay? If you're not a gamer, look at your keyboard and you can open your phone, use your phone's keyboard and see that S is below W. Actually, I'm not sure if phones have this S below W. Also, recently I learned that it is possible to touch type on an iPad, but it is using Braille. Um, so because it's using Braille, it's not, exactly the way that you would expect it to be. It's a little bit slow, but it's theoretically possible even for a, regular human. So yeah, pretty cool. I was trying to see if it's possible to see the way that the keyword is laid out on my phone. Let me see here. If I click, well, okay, W is not necessarily under S, but it is in real life, in real phones, and sorry, in real computers, it is. Um, I think on the phone it's just a little bit more exaggerated, because the phone doesn't have a tab key, and uh, yeah, just the phone messes it all up. Okay, so going back to this, we don't want, as we have learned, we don't want deceleration to be the reason for us to slow down. If we press S, then that will be deceleration. But I had recently, in fact, I just now thought, like, hey, what if we have an explosion? Or actually, okay, explosions, we might not have those, but let's say we have a truck that hits the player, or a running person. No, let's stop on the truck. let's say the truck hits you, but it doesn't run you over, okay? It just kind of hits you and you just start flying, all right? You could say that the player, because was hit by a truck, for a certain amount of time, they will not be able to control themselves because, they're like, what's it called? Um, I forgot what it's called. Uh, what is it called though? Like bl not blinded, but like stunned, I think is the word. And so I thought like, hey, that would be a good maybe idea to do. Like if you're stunned, you cannot control yourself, and like, oh wait, but how do you how do you uh how do you do that though? With like, being stunned, because if you can decelerate and like you can basically exert a force in the opposite direction and it will decelerate you, well, can't you just, stop yourself faster? And I think the way we're gonna do it is we're gonna say that the player is requesting an action of movement, but if they are stunned, they cannot move. Okay? All right. One sec. I need to answer a very specific text very, very quickly. Uh, okay, I answered the text. It was like important, actually important. Although I could have resolved it off stream, but since I already tapped the notification. So what was I trying to search for? I was trying to search for something on my phone. I forgot. Why did I search on my phone either? I forgot. Okay, let's get rid of this distraction. Um, so are we still? Oh, okay, it's just the console. Um, so we need to completely redo the thing that I did with what? With uh with controllers. Okay, let's probably, you know what? Let's save a project. Let's make sure it compiles. Okay, it compiles. Let's make sure that when it runs, yeah, it does what we want. And what we'll do is we will git commit. But I'm gonna use maggot. I at this point cannot live without maggot because it is just so good. So untracked files, we will change that later. Like we'll get rid of this player controllable. At least we're gonna set it to be a little bit different. But let's do this. Let's stage all this handle events. Let's see here. Systems, main.cpp, cmake. Okay. Now let's see what the recent test commit was. Added rendering and physics systems. Okay. So in that case, commit and let's escape out of this. What I am interested in is the diff, which is this thing. Let's see here, player controllable. Okay, timer appeared inside of core. Good. Um, what else? SDL renderer. Oh, sorry, class renderer. Let's see here. Changed a few things. Changed int to float, basically. Inline. Got rid of that. I'm actually timing it with Chrono now because SDL seemed to be very confusing for me. I was like, screw it. I'm just gonna use a random timer off of GitHub and just use that to measure my timings. And it's gonna be more precise as well. Also, we added these two handle events. This is not actually gonna be like this, but you don't have to know. Next up, how do I like, if I don't want to edit this? Let's see here. So, CSDDef, time, component, player core. Added this srand here. Removed the velocity off of them. Create fixture. I'm looking specifically at the imgui stuff. I'm searching for anything that has to do with imgui. See, create fixture. Set friction. I could just run git diff and then use that, but I'm not gonna do. Shape, set as box, register.get. Okay. How do I? This looks really weird. I don't like the way it looks. It just looks terrible. Okay. Let's see. Player data, timer that stop. And then a few things in here. What is this? Oh, handle events. Yeah, there's a bunch of stuff in here. Remove those comments. Mm-hmm. And then SDL present renderer. Okay, seems to be good to me. Let's write a commit message. Added player controls. Let's not write swear words in the git commit. Uh, Added terrible player control system and event handler. Is it beyond the added bad event handler and player controls? Um, can I do terrible here? Yeah, okay. Event handler and player controls. All right, good. Now we can keep on moving. This is actually, I should use git commit a lot more, to be honest, because git commit allows you to have a rather good way of like rolling back. Like say, when I decided to install MGUI, I didn't, for some reason, I did not commit what I had, and if I did, I would just do like git rollback or something. I forgot the exact command, but I would have just canceled all those changes. Okay, by the way, I forgot if it's actually moving as smoothly. Yeah, it is. Okay, so now let's make the proper player controller. So let me think about it. When the player presses the button on their keyboard, they might be inputting text, right? But they could also be moving. For now, the only thing that's happening is that the player is moving around. We're not going to have text inputs just yet. Later we will, just that right now we don't have to think about it. So, okay, that's good enough. We have established that. Later we'll make a better system for handling events, but for now, let's think of it, okay, the player has pressed a button, but it doesn't have to be a button. It could have been a controller like a joystick, or it could have been a button, but in their settings they bound forward not to W, but say to an up arrow, or maybe they have both, right? We don't want to handle player physics in terms of, which arrow they pressed or which W key which they pressed, or like if they pressed, like something else. We don't want to deal with that. We want some kind of player event structure where it tells you, okay, these were the key presses. There was some process that converted those key presses or mouse or whatever into this data structure. Deal with it. Okay. Um, and and here is the thing. That data structure should not just be one data structure, it should be multiple data structures, because what I want to do is I want to take the data structure, I want to split it into multiple pieces. For example, movement around, like walking, okay? And what I want to do is I want to be able to have, like, say, NPCs that also need the ability to walk, but they should use the same system for, invoking this movement as the um, anyway, I was just thinking about physics, and why I thought that velocity. I need to read on how velocity is implemented in this game, because if it's implemented as a, I mean, if yeah, I have no idea. Anyway, continuing on, let's say that we have this movement system that is moving players around, that makes, this smooth acceleration, deceleration, all that. We want both the NPCs and the players use that, and in fact, we want player movement to be very efficient in terms of like CPU cycles, because, well, if the other entities are moving already, the player is also moving, and it's not really causing any kind of special behavior to happen. And it's also going to be a little bit more sort of mm, better. So, as a result, here is what I'll do. Since we have linear acceleration and linear velocity, sorry, linear doesn't imply much of anything. Yeah, should we have our own acceleration? Hmm, should we use forces? I need to learn a bit more about how Box 2D handles physics. Um, so let's see, Box 2D, walking, let's just Google that. Walking box. No. Yep. Game dev without a cause. Nice. Is it like a monitor? Yeah, it's like up close of a monitor. Pretty cool. Okay. Running and jumping in Box City. We're not gonna have that kind of graphics, and we're not gonna have, you know, a platformer, but still. Okay, so handling physics. Mm, Okay. That being said, it's literally certainly possible to set up boxes in such a way that create high quality performing experiences. The description setup has been working on so far. Mm, foot sensor. Okay. Mm-hmm. Okay. Using just a single impulse for jumps, however, results in all jumps being the same height regardless of how long the player pressed the jump button. In order to allow the jump height control to grade vertical acceleration, reduced by 25 ft, for example, as long as the jump but also being held. Mm. This way the player can get the full height of the jump impulse while holding down the jump button before being able to get short hops from quick button taps. Okay, while applying impulses works well for jumping, the initial delay required for the combination is not suitable for the character moving to on the ground. Players expect their characters to be able to run on a time. In order to accomplish, I directly set the x coordinate position linear velocity according to player input. And the basic movement control implemented. The final step is to implement wildly physically impossible standards of platforming games, air control. Oh, you know what, guys? I think I actually no. I don't think so. Hmm. Or is it? Hang on. So in my handle events, I set the velocity to be body velocity if it's less than body velocity. I wonder if it's greater than that. Oh, if it's greater than that, then it just uses the greater version. Oh, I think the reason why we're not slowing down is not because we don't have friction, it's probably because, well, we don't have uh what is it called? We don't actually like slow down, like the physics system will just keep us going because it just like if it's less than body velocity, it will set it to body velocity. But usually it will be greater than that. Uh, and so if it is greater than that, um, but but then it is zero most of the time because here we reset it to be VEC zero. Uh, and not really sure. Okay. Okay, so they're just setting the velocity, and I seem to suck at it for some reason. In this case, here's what I'll do. Uh, so let's completely rewrite this thing because that's just not the way I want it. I want to have, like you accelerate slowly, and then as you ramp up speed, you start accelerating a little bit faster and faster and faster, and then maybe at the end for sprinting. Um, oh, and actually, the good thing about this is that we can actually know where the player is, like on what surface they are. And if they are on sand, I wanted to do something pretty interesting for sand. Um, yeah. All right. You know what? Let's go over to this, click this button, click this button, and you cannot hear stuff. Okay. That's too loud. I can't hear myself. Let's see. That should be about there. I usually have it set, yeah, about there. About there. But I don't like the way that it's just not from the beginning, though. Hang on. Why is it not from the beginning? I want it to be right from there. Mm, weird. Okay. I just really like this song. Let's rewrite our movement system. So the way that I'm gonna do it is I'm gonna say that first of all, my player controllable is not a VVEC2 velocity thing. In fact, the player controllable should not exist anymore because that's just trash. Let's make a different struct. Let's get rid of this one. It's just not needed right now. Okay. It's not gonna compile. I'll first add in the new struct, and then I'll do the rest of like actual rework. So struct, and we're gonna call this one. I cannot think with this music. Fuck. Anyway, so struct. Um, what do you call it? Let's see here. We're gonna be like inside of here. We're gonna request view of uh, movement intent component, and I'm not gonna call it component, of course, because we don't call stuff components if they're a struct, and we're just able to tell that it is or not. Also, I have to fix. No, I'm not gonna fix it. So struct movement event, movement intent, and we are going to define it in a rather interesting way. First of all, we are going to use B2, uh, not a vector, okay? B2, do you have like a angle? Uh, why does it do this pop-up? Hang on. Zoom, Emacs, hide, LSB, pop-up. I think it's made by the LSB, it's just so annoying. Okay. Anyway, angle. Okay, so there seems to be, what is this? Angular stiffness. No, 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 no. Okay, so in that case, we're gonna use radians. Now, radians, as far as I know, in Box2D are just floats. Actually, hang on. So what I want is, I think actually the way that they are done is through sinus and cosinus values, and they just store it, yeah, as a sinus and a cosinus. They don't actually like, um, actually we could use sinus and cosinus because I think that yeah, actually storing it as a sinus and a cosinus is going to be interesting for us because sinus, sorry, 1 minus sinus. Dun, 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 dun. Can I get a... No, 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 no. This is not what I actually... Dun, 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 dun. Get out of here. No, no, get out of here. I don't want you. Please, go away. Go away. Shush. Any, any way of closing this? No. Okay, let's just quit out of this. Mm, I think it's a cosinus. I mean, hang on. There is some, like, I remember we actually, I think we have this formula somewhere. Hang on, I think we have it. Do we? Was it this one? Which one? Also, why is this math? Sorry, int transform. I don't know what it's doing there. Okay. No. No. Which? We don't have it. Okay, let's just close this thing then. I forgot. There, this is what I was looking. Okay, recall that sinus square plus cosinus square equals 1. So 1 minus sinus square equals cosinus square. Oh wait, it's cosinus square. Dang. But, oh wait. Still, you need to square root it, and square root is expensive. Uh, it, yeah, okay. But alright, so I think it's gonna be better for us to just calculate the... Wait, which is more expensive? This? Like, how do I get a sinus of something quickly? I forgot. I need to know though. Also, some of you may have noticed I got a new i3 status bar. Um, because somebody told me on Discord, hey, if you're saying your i3 bar is terrible, well, you should probably do something about it. And so I did. Okay, that's not Very helpful. The reason why I want this is I want to store something like, say, a radian of an angle, and I want to get the. Basically, I don't really like. I want to get a normal vector out of a, an angle. Okay, that's all I want. I just want a normal vector out of an angle. So, by box2d.org, they have a math module, and I am pretty sure they have something there. Uh, Math. Who's texting me? Nobody important? Okay. Let's see here. Memory management. A large number of the decisions about design the box do are based on the trick and efficiencies of memory in this section of this class. Oh wait, that's memory. I want math. Math is here. Box includes a simple small vector and matrix module. This is designed to suit the internal needs of a Box.D and the API. The members are exposed, so you may use them freely in your application. MATLAB is kept simple to make Box.D easy to port and maintain. Okay. Uh, Hang on. Transform. Nope. Pairwise, dynamic tree, broad face. um, Fast, normal, vector from angle. I just C++. Point A 020 goes to point B 15.5. My velocity is 1 minus 1 times speed. A wall from point C to point D. Wall standing upright. I'm waiting, making a game. Lasers need to reflect lasers against a rotated object, but can't find the correct normal vector. Oh my goodness me. Now I calculate the normal and normalize it. I know how to normalize. The normalized vector should be negative 1, but how do you calculate? Do I need to use a dot product angle or something else? Mm-hmm. Nice. I don't know what they use, but it's pretty cool. Mm-hmm. Oh, wait. That's not what I wanted. Oh, actually it is. Wait, to normalize a vector, you divide the vector by its magnitude? How exactly? Oh, it's like matrix division, I guess. Is it? Divided by root, square root 0 plus square root 20. Okay, equals 0, 20, 20 by 20, 0 and 1. So you divide both wait a second. How exactly does this... Let me take a piece of paper. Hang on. Actually, let's launch GIMP instead, so you can see it. Math, this kind of math is only possible to be done with um, with what's it called? With graphical stuff, graphical representation of a problem. So you take your GIMP, you what is it? Control N, I think, a new thing, and then you take your pencil, make that black, make it really small, and then you make a line. Maybe that's too small, but I don't care. And then you do something over here with a coordinate plane. And in fact, you should start over because, well, first thing you do is a little bit of a bigger, let's set it to about 5. Let's go just right over here. Okay, so this is your coordinate plane. This is X. Let's find a better font for it. No. There should be a Noto. Noto serif. Hang on. I don't know if Noto serif will be good, but I feel like it will be. Where is it, by the way? Takes forever. There's so many Noto fonts. Oh no. Noto. Okay, let's just Google. Let's just Google this. Search for it. Noto. Noto serif. Okay. Good. Done. Yeah, we'll use this font just because it's a little bit nicer. Okay. So that's your X. And I think I moved something. This here will be your Y, which is too big. It should be like this. And let's also grab it and move it over here. So of course, why is it so big? Yeah, really, that's just too big. Can I get this to be a little smaller? Just become smaller, okay? I don't want you to be this big. Alright, so then you get a vector. You hire a vector that's gonna live. Let's get a nice color. Get a vector and you put this vector. Let's say you put it at about what? What? Does it even draw? It does not draw. Okay. So you get a vector, and you looks like this, okay? It's a very terrible brush. Hang on. Let me change it to. It should be better. Maybe. Who knows? Yeah, it seems to be a little better. Hang on. Let me redo that. Alright, so that's the vector. Alright, that's where it ends, about there. And then this is where it starts. I mean, there should be an arrow there. Let's draw like an arrow. It doesn't look like an arrow. Alright, so there you go. No, it's not perfect enough. You got an error. And this point is, no, I don't know. Doesn't matter what it is, to be honest. So let's say that this point is, let's start with a simple one. It's going to be, at first, it's going to be 0, 20. It does not look remotely close to that. I know. Why is it so gigantic? I need this to be smaller. Yeah, this should not take this long, but I don't care. Alright, so let's say this is 0, 20. I don't want to move the entire thing. I just want to move this. This is the thing I'm moving. You idiot. Alright, so 0, 20. That's our first point. And it should be here. But because I don't bother writing it twice. Also, can I edit this by any chance? Oh yeah, I can. So this is 0, 20. Pretty good. So what would be the actual length of this vector? Or well, the length of it is 20. Okay. Oh my goodness me. It should be. What was the size that I said is good? 20. Oh, I should set it here. There. Okay. So let's say that the length. I mean, not let's say. We know for sure. You know, it's like it's a fact. The length here is equal to 20. Sorry, 20. Alright. But what would be the coordinate of a normalized vector? Well, normalized vector coordinates are going to be such 0, 1. Let's take a look at another example. Let's say this is not 0, 20, but 20, 0. In that case, it would be 1, 0. What would be the coordinates of a normal vector that has coordinates? Let's just say v here equals, alright, and this doesn't exist, of course. V equals 1 and 1. What would be the normal of that? Well, you would think that normal vector is the same thing. It is 1, 1. But the issue is, if you do it that way, your math just kind of falls apart. Because it's not what you think. Why is it insert mode? It's not 1, 1. Instead, it's some obscure, I think it's like 0.7 and 0.7. I don't remember. I think it's square root of 2. I don't remember, honestly. I don't care enough. Point is, it's not 1, 1. Okay? It is not. And because it's not, we have to compute it. But how do we compute it? Well, the idea behind the normal vector is that this is some length 20. Let's actually make it look legit. I don't know. That looks to me like a, I don't know, 1320 or something. Right? So the thing about the normal vector is that the normal vector, if I take, I don't know, like some green color looking thing, the normal vector will end about, Jesus Christ, can I draw today? The normal vector will end about, you know, somewhere here. That's going to be, let me draw it again. That's going to be the normal vector, because its length equals to 1. That's the idea behind the normal vector. But the issue is, how do we compute this? Well, okay. back to our most. This is my favorite theorem, by the way. The what's it called? The guy. I forgot the name of this guy who made it because I can't pronounce his name. I think Pythagoras. I think it's called, but I forgot. You see, this name is just completely different in my language, so sorry for that. Let me quickly move that out of the way. Point is, if we look at a triangle, let's go here. So let's say I have, a triangle. What is happening? Why can I not draw? Say I have a triangle, right? Oh, can't quite reach. All right, there you go. So we got a triangle. Just a, normal. Okay, that's too big. Let me do that again. Hang on, I want to do that again. Oh, perfect. So we got a triangle. Now, let's just say we want the side of it, this stuff to be. Oh, let me do it a little bit differently here. Yeah, I feel like spending a lot of time on math explaining and drawing. So we want this to be 1. Okay, that's pretty easy for us to understand. What we don't know is the size of this. Alright, we don't know this. Neither do we know this. Okay, that's kind of hard to look at. And the only thing we know here is, I think we know this as well. Like this angle. I think we know that. I'm not sure though. Yeah, we do. So we know this angle, and we know the length. We need to know what this is. If you go back to our sinus and cosinus, you know what that is. But the issue is, oh wait, you actually do know the angle. You know this alpha here. Is it just literally sinus and cosinus multiplication? Um, so we're gonna need to have a float angle. This is what it's been going towards. Also, I should probably, when I draw in GIMP, I should probably fill it with black and draw with like white and stuff. And also should give myself a much higher resolution canvas for it. So, float angle. Oh, it's angle. Let's use angle. And that. We also have a float. Sorry. We don't have a speed. Sorry, not a speed. So we have an angle. We have a maximum speed that we want to reach, which is okay. We have a max speed right there. We also have a what do we got? A I think something like uh well, okay, actually, now that I think about it, hang on. Let me think about it real quick. Do we want this? Do we want this? Do we want to bother with, you know, velocity? Actually, I mean, that's kind of I don't know. Should we interface? Should the movement system? Sorry, should the um, control system think about box 2D? Worry about it? Not sleep at night because it's thinking, oh, I should make box 2D correctly. I should interface with box 2D correctly. And if box 2D goes away, I have to change it myself. Should we do this? Or should we achieve that independence I was talking about in, I think it was a previous stream or something? Well, I don't know. Let's see. So the movement system wants something to move in a certain direction. In case of a player, let's think of it this way. Let's break it down to the most basic thing. In case of the player, when we want to move, we know the direction because we pressed WASD or used our joystick or something, right? We press those buttons or something, so we know the direction. We can compute the angle thing. Then, um, we need to know what else do we know? We know what the velocity would be because we're gonna use the same thing for the car, I guess. So we know the velocity, and we also know the acceleration. And another thing we know is we know that that's pretty much all we know. We don't have to think about more. All right, so that should give us something. And then our goal would be to say that inside of handle events, we are. Why is it not complaining about player controllable not being a thing? Because I clearly deleted this. If I try to compile, it's going to fail. It will. Why is it not complaining in the source code? I don't know. Well, anyway. So let's ask registry.view for movement. Oh, it's being slow today. Movement intent. I did the what? Yeah, okay. All right, it's slow. So, all right, now it's finally understanding that hey, shit struck us. So we're gonna take our movement intent, and this only contains information about what we want. It doesn't necessarily have to be executed because, well, uh, in fact, handle control intents, right? So we're gonna say, well, it doesn't have to be executed because we might block it, right? Uh, and that could happen, okay? Uh, so, as a result, we are gonna say that our body velocity here, get linear velocity, that will give us a constant reference to it. We're gonna say that. So for now, let's not have any kind of acceleration. Let's ignore, I better say, acceleration. Let's in fact remove it from here, just not to mislead yourself. All right. Oh, what did I do? So we are gonna say that we get our velocity. All right. So we need to get the control. We know the angle, we know the velocity. We know that we are, well, for now we're only gonna have entities like, NPCs, right? So we don't have to worry about them being um, affected by velocity or, these kinds of intentions differently than the players. So although later we will have like probably some kind of stats system, but let's not talk about that yet. And it shouldn't be the job of this controller intent thing either. Um, so, um, get linear velocity will get the linear velocity, and then it should basically check if so. Like what it should do is we assume that if we have movement intent attached and it's not an empty one, so we could have like a function here that returns a bool, and it will um, return angle equals 0 and velocity. Oh, sorry, velocity equals 0. Angle doesn't matter. So actually, it doesn't really have to be in here. So first of all, here's what we'll do. In the very beginning, if controller, or better say intent. So if intent dot velocity equals 0, in that case, return. Now you might be, if you're not very familiar with C++, you might think, oh, wait a second, what is he doing? In fact, what am I doing? Should be renaming it with LSP rename. Okay. So, intended velocity equals 0, then return. And what that does is essentially um, if we don't want to update our velocity, if our intentional velocity is 0, we don't do anything, okay? Which, actually, that's not gonna work. Yeah, you know what? Let's make it so that if you don't want to move, you don't impose that movement intent into memory. Let's not do that. So, in that case, okay, let's do it this way. So if movement intent is, let's see, velocity, and we also want acceleration, which I'm not gonna talk about yet. Let's make it so that basically you accelerate, you have a bit of acceleration, but it's not as dramatic or as slow as you might think. So here's what we'll do. We'll say that I mean, there should be acceleration in here. I want acceleration. Um, because I also want deceleration. So here's what I'll do. I'll say we get the velocity, and then we're gonna check. Actually, we're not gonna check. We're just gonna say, well, whatever the movement controller is telling me, I'm gonna do that. All right. And then if you want to prevent that, you just, do something and tell me. All right. But for now, we're gonna say if intent that velocity um, we are going to need to compute our velocity as a normal vector and multiply it by velocity. In order to do that, I am going to Google um, normal vector from angle. Is it a dot product? I'm not sure. Okay, well actually normalized, I think it's called. Normalized. Okay, now we're talking. Now it seems to be a little bit more. Yeah. I just have the angle. Okay, I just have the angle. I don't have this VXVI. We normalized, and this is essentially the mathematical trick to use convert vector of length in to vector length of 1. I guess the way to do it is through sinus and cosinus. So if we Google sinus, oh, actually we don't have to Google it because I did the research previously, so we can just go into scratch.org. We can look into the equation, these equations specifically. There are two equations for computing sinus and cosinus. Actually, we don't need the equations themselves. What we want is actually, so we know alpha, we need to know A and B, okay? And also, we want C to be 1. So we just assume, well, okay, we just say A divided by 1, okay? So, wait. Actually, yeah, weird. Hmm. Anyway, so what we want is we want to say, that still trips me up. It can't be that they, I guess, yeah, I mean, they're, no, they can be, hang on, I'm just thinking about something. Yeah, they're always smaller. Okay. All right. So in that case, what is A equal to? Well, we can compute the sinus. So let's say alpha. We know both alpha and sinus and cosinus. Then we say A is equal to sinus times C. So it's just sinus alpha. And B is cosinus alpha. That cannot be true. Although it is. Let me look up. Also, we can close this at this point. Let me open up this real quick. Hang on. sinus chart. Let's see. This is a, yeah, I think this is showing the normal vector, although it doesn't have to be. Actually seem to be doing that. So, let's see here. Um, I'm just enjoying the music, I cannot think. Um, Square root of 3 over 2. Oh, so even though C is 1, you are still plugging in radians. So even here, you're gonna get a really weird value, like 5, oh sorry, pi divided by 2, which is about um, 1. Well, I mean, actually, it's not showing you what the value is for some reason. Should be square root of 2 though. Half 3 over 2. Actually, that's kind of confusing for me. I have never looked at a chart like this. I'm more familiar with this. um, so interesting. Okay. All right then. I guess it checks out. So in that case, we can close this document. Actually, we can just open something like here, and we can say that if the let's see, if the oh, what am I supposed to edit? I forgot. I think handle events. Yes, so we need to compute the normalized vector. The way we do this, and I'm sorry for saying normal. Okay, that happens sometimes. Well, normalized vector, from what I understand, is going to be just sinus of alpha. I mean, hang on. Angle to coordinates of normalized vector. The reason why I'm googling this is because I'm just not really willing to make sure 100%. No, wait, that's not the thing that I want. I want hmm. So you're gonna say that your v2 vic2 velocity is, it's going to be n velocity, is going to be computed as sinus. Is it sinus though? I think it's cosinus. Yeah, I think it's actually x is a cosinus first. Cosinus of intent dot angle, and this is going to be sinus of intent dot angle, and of course it's going to say here intent dot velocity, but actually you just set n underscore velocity, and then here n dot velocity. Well, I mean, removing the intent from something is not really your problem, so we're not going to do that. Okay, I think we're gonna finish it next time because the stream is going on for 3 hours, and you know, I need to do a few things. So everybody have a good day. Maybe later we'll see you soon. See the colors falling out of line. They don't know the two of us are colorblind. Yeah. Yeah, the stream is ending. I'm just finding the button. Okay. I'm colorblind. Yeah. Alright. See ya. Bye.